back of the wall somewhere, we've got some members of the chorus. Lyria, come on down. We've got Helen and Joe Mitchell, and also the director of the Heartt chorus, Bob Silver. So we'll have time for a few questions for the Q&A, and then Stephen Walker and his special guests will be outside in the lobby to talk to you a little more. If you have a question, please stand up and try to project your voice as great as possible, but there's great acoustics in the print, so you shouldn't have too much problem. So I'm sure you've got some questions. So let's see some hands. Okay?
Do you want the truth, or do you want me to make up a really good story?
We want the truth and the imaginary story. We want it all.
I could tell you the cruise ship story, but that's not true. I was living in Northampton, and I was there back in 1982, and it's a great town, Northampton. And I moved there at a time when things were really sort of, it was a great time for artists to be there, because it was really cheap to live in Northampton. And all the loft spaces were really pretty inexpensive to live in, and there were a lot of artists moving in, and there was a lot of stuff happening, and I was able to do all the things that I like to do. I was in a band called the Self-Righteous Brothers, and I was working with a repertory theater company, and I started stage managing with them, and then I eventually started performing with them. I was in a Much Ado About Nothing with them, and then I was in a feminist musical called Viva Re Viva, where I played. You know it? You know that piece? Nobody knows that piece. It lasted for about 2 nights. And I was a projectionist at a movie theater, and it was a really fun time, but I really had to get a job that paid money. So somebody came up to me and said, I have a job working at a meal site for the elderly, and it has health insurance, and I figured I better take that. And it started from that. I really liked the idea of working there because I had some really wonderful old people in my life. You know, I had this wonderful great aunt who was a member of the Amalgamated Clothing Workers, and but she also was into big time wrestling, so she would always take us to that. And there was something about that crowd. You know, that when I first moved there, it was the World War I generation, and they were really interesting. And after about 3 months, a woman came up to me and said, I play the piano, can you get some people together? So we did that, and then over time we really connected it with a lot of the different things that were happening in our community. It was really a community arts organization for a long time until about '97, and then we started taking these stage shows over to Europe.
Next question. Yes, please stand up. Thank you.
What happened was what we did for the first 10 years is we did these collaborations. I mean, it was an interesting thing because, you know, Northampton, like a lot of New England towns, are, you know, the old people really feel very protective of their town, and if you're not born in the hospital, you don't belong there, sort of thing. And then there was a lot of new people moving into the town. There was a growing